How's it going, guys? Today I'm gonna be doing a zombies video, and I'm gonna do the top 10 best zombies maps in my opinion, my personal opinion. So, this list is a lot different than it probably would have been a couple years ago, just because I played all the maps quite a few times by now and watched a lot of gameplay and all that kind of stuff. So, this list, if you knew like what my favorite maps were back in the day, if you were one of my good friends, something like that, I mean, this list might be different than it used to be. So, yeah. And then also, as far as 2K goes, they dropped fan favorites Series 2 packs today. There was an Opal JR, Opal Jeremy Lin, Opal Michael Porter Jr., I believe. Yeah, I think that's who it was. And, yeah. So I'm not really too tempted to open any of those. I might at some point. Probably going to bring a 2K video again soon. Just kind of wanted to update you guys on what was going on with that. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get into the list. Coming in at number 10, we have 5. Now, 5 is a map that I know a lot of people don't like, and a lot of people think it's just way too hard. It's way too close quarters. It's just... So, anyway, if you don't know, 5 is just a map where you travel through the Pentagon. It's really close quarters. It's not very easy to get to box. It's not very easy to pack punch. It's not the hardest thing in the world to get jug, but the box part is really tedious because you have to open like 4 or 5 doors that cost anywhere from 750 to 1250 points, and then you got to go down 2 elevators. Those each cost 250. It's really a pain in the neck to get to box on this map. But it is a map that I really do enjoy. I enjoy the challenge of it. So that's why I put it in at number 10 over some of the Black Ops 3 maps and then over other maps that I just don't think are quite as fun. So yeah, coming in at number 10 is 5, which is the Pentagon. And then coming in at number 9, we have Derice. So Derice is kind of like this old facility. I like the original version much more than the Giant on Black Ops 3. I just like how the original is kind of light. The new version, it's super dark and you can't really see much that well, but the old version, it was like daytime outside. You could see perfectly fine. And that map's awesome. I mean, you got the 4 original perks. If you're playing on Black Ops 1, you can get Mule Kick as well. And then obviously if you're playing the Giant, you can get all 8 perks. But I like playing the Black Ops 1 version. So usually I'll get everything besides double tap and then just get Mule Kick in place of that. And then you just got to you got to link the 3 generators to the mainframe. And Jug's in kind of a tedious spot, but it's not horrible. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people do. You just have to open up a couple extra doors or it's just 1 extra door, I believe, after you get box. And yeah, pack punching is not too bad either. And then once you get it's really not a training map. It's more of a camping map, which kind of suits my preferred style of play more, even though I do enjoy training on certain maps, especially some certain ones that are coming up. But yeah, Derice, just a really, really fun map. Comes in at number 9. And coming in at number 8, we have Der Eisendrock. Now, Der Eisendrock, to me, is like they wanted to try and make an Origins again, but just make it better than the original Origins, and they failed. I'm sorry, they failed. The bows are not as good as the staffs. The bows are not as good as the staffs. They're still fun to use, but they're not as nostalgic or anything like that. And, yeah, box isn't in a horrible location. Jug's not in a horrible location either. But it's just not one of my favorites. The Easter egg's pretty hard. I know a lot of people that just love that map, but it just feels like a downgraded Origins when I play it. So that's why I didn't put it as high on this list, or as high as some people may have put it on their top 10 list. So yeah, number 8 is Der Eisendrock. And coming in at number 7, we have Buried. Now, Buried is one of those maps that's pretty easy, and it's a camping map again, which I really like. And you can get into the hundreds rounds if you're good enough, and if you have like 4 players and all that. But yeah, Jug's in a pretty easy spot. Power's not bad either. The only thing that's kind of rough is Pack-a-Punch, but it's just because the map itself is really easy. It's not hard to do. The Witch's House is kind of tedious, but not horrible. Yeah, if you're a good player, you can get through it easily without getting any of your points taken. And then, yeah, that's pretty much about it with Buried. Everything's kind of just really suited for the player. You can pound in box. There's no teddy bear. The box can't move on you. You can use Leroy to do all kinds of stuff that'll really help you out. And it's just it's fun, I think. I think it's really fun. And then I like camping and just going round after round. That never gets boring to me. Training gets boring to me and gets really just, yeah. So that's why Buried comes in at number 7 for me. And coming in at number 6, we have Shangri-La. Now, Shangri-La is a map that I would have probably put a number 2 or 1 on this list if you'd asked me a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. But I've just played it so much that there's not much for me to do on it besides the Easter egg at this point. I've done everything you can pretty much do. Pack-punched all the weapons in the Black Ops 1 version and the Chronicles version. Or not the Chronicles version, but most of them pretty much all of them in the Black Ops 1 version. And yeah, it's an awesome map. I love random perk spawn because it changes up the game. It's not like you're doing the same thing every time. You'd buy different perks. I really like that. And I like that the box location's not horrible. You only have to open 2 doors. And it's not the easiest map in the world to get to a high round on, that's for sure. But it's not super hard if you do a full map train and just use the slide and the minecart to your advantage, which is what I usually do. So, yeah, Shangri-La comes in at number 6. Really good map. I like it a lot. Coming in at number 5 is Call of the Dead, which if you were to ask me a year ago maybe, if I would ever rank Call of the Dead above Shangri-La, I would say you're crazy. But I really do like Call of the Dead, man. It's got one of my favorite probably my favorite training spot of all time, besides maybe the stage on Kino, in that kind of that open area by the lighthouse, sort of. Yeah, the only thing that's rough is Jug and Power are really just far away from where you want to go ultimately, but that's not horrible because, if they were right by everything else, this map might be too easy. I'm going to be honest with you. That kind of forces you to explore the whole map and all that. And then Pack-a-Punch I don't like how Pack-a-Punch moves. That's one thing that I really do not like about this map. But that's pretty much the only flaw that I can think of. And then the perks, or Jug, and Pack-a-Punch being far away from where you spawn, that's really not that big of a deal to me. Not as big of a deal as a moving Pack-a-Punch. Sorry. And then all the other perks kind of just in pretty decent locations. Box can spawn only 1 door away sometimes. Usually I like to restart my game until it does. It'll spawn below the lighthouse and you only have to open up 1 door for $7.50 to get it. And that's awesome. I mean, you couldn't ask for any better box spot than that for it to spawn. So yeah, I really like this map. Call of the Dead comes in at number 5. And then coming in at number 4, this one might kind of turn some heads. I'm going to put Origins here. Now Origins, a lot of people, of course, will put it their number 1. It's this new, I don't even know what you'd use to describe it. Just expansive new, all kinds of new content that's never been in zombies before. You got the staffs, all this and that. But I'm going to tell you, I don't get as good of a vibe playing this map as I do other maps. I'd much rather be in the jungle of Shangri-La or, maybe in the Pentagon in 5 or the theater in Kino. I'd much rather be in those locations than freaking these boring, brown, muddy trenches. I'm sorry, but that's just what it comes down to. I don't like the vibe of this map, even though the gameplay and everything you can do in this map is absolutely incredible. There's nothing wrong with this map at all. I love it. Obviously, it's still at my number 4 spot. But just the vibe and the skin of this map, I guess is maybe the word that I'd want to use, is not just, it could be so much better, I feel like. I like how there's blue everywhere. The Pack-a-Punch camo is blue. The staffs are obviously unbelievably awesome, but I really like how it introduced Wonder Fizz Orb, which is one of my favorite things that Zombies has ever introduced. But it's just the vibe, man. And if you don't have the vibe that you're really desirable playing Zombies, it doesn't matter how fun the map is. So that's why Origins comes in at number 4 for me. And coming in at number 3, we have Kino der Toten, Theater of the Dead. Now, this map is unbelievable. You start in the spawn room. You go, you can get Jug is not in a horrible spot. You can either go left or right pretty much. I usually get lucky and get boxed when I'm kind of moving through. If you don't, there's an MP40 on the wall if you go through the right side, which is what I recommend. Just buy that for $1,000, and then you can go turn on power. You can see exactly where box is. You got Jug right there. It's super easy to pack punch. You can pack punch before, sometimes even on like round 7 if you have a good start to the game. And then you can obviously train on the stage, which, like I said earlier, is my favorite training spot of all time. And I've gotten into I'm trying to think of how far I've actually gone. I've gotten over round 50 for sure, but I'm not sure exactly what round. I think in the 60s maybe. That's my highest round I've ever gotten to on Black Ops 1. It was like either like early 70s or late 60s round. But yeah. So that's why I really like Kino. It's just super fun, never gets old. I've probably played it more than any other map, to be honest with you. And yeah, that's why Kino comes in at number 3. And coming in at number 4, we have Mob of the Dead. Now, Mob of the Dead are coming in at number 2. We have Mob of the Dead, yeah. This map's unbelievable. Okay, you spawn in, you're in the Alcatraz prison. Everything's red. Now, in Origins, I would say everything's blue. In Mob of the Dead, everything's like red or orange, which I like so much more, man. And it's just, it's cool how you're in the prison. The vibe is crazy cool. The electric cherry's crazy cool. Jug's not in a terrible spot. It's not that horribly hard to pack a punch, to be honest with you. And it's an amazing map, man. It is. A lot of people would also put this at their number 1. Origins and Mob of the Dead are kind of the holy grail maps of zombies. They used to be my favorites, but kind of, I like just certain stuff about other maps. But Mob of the Dead, number 2, I don't think there's any question about it in my mind, man. This is just a crazy cool map. Introduced Electric Cherry. It's really an adventure to pack punch and go to the Golden Gate Bridge on your plane and everything, even if you do wreck it and don't escape the island like you think. The Easter egg's not horrible. I've only done it once, but it's not really that hard. It's pretty fun, too. And yeah, comes in at number 2. And coming in at number 1, we have my favorite zombies map of all time, and it has been pretty much since the point I've played it. This is the one map that is never probably going to change from my number 1 spot, and that is Moon. Now, let me mention the one flaw of this map first. I guess there's 2 flaws, but the map itself is just so awesome that these 2 flaws just don't even really matter to me. And these 2 flaws are that when you're in Area 51 when you start, you can easily get Jug at the start of the game. Like, if you're a good player and know what you're doing, you can easily get Jug before round 1 even starts. How awesome is that? But sometimes it can be speed. But if it is speed, it's not horrible, because then the next time you go back, it'll be Jug. But the one thing that is pretty rough is if you get Jug before round 1, you go back, and then the astronaut kills you. Then he'll take away your Juggernog. It'll be gone. You'll have to go back twice for it to be Jug again. And it's not the funnest thing in the world, I'm not going to lie. But, the astronaut's rough, but just the feel of this map, man, the vibe that it gives off is unbelievable, unparalleled, in my opinion, to any other map. You're on the freaking moon, for God's sake. Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how they added the anti-gravity, too. I don't care if it makes it harder. I think it's just too cool to not like. And yeah, pack punching not horribly hard either. You just got to move through the map, basically, is all you got to do. Box can be in a tedious spawn, but that's not a big deal, man. It brings a challenge to the map. So does the astronaut. I like challenging maps. Moon is the perfect balance between challenge and just an unbelievable vibe and unbelievable aesthetics and everything else. And yeah, Moon is my favorite zombies map of all time, and it's probably not even close, and I don't know if it ever will be. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys supporting this channel. I'll have some more 2K content out and some more zombies content out soon. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys in the next video.